What's up, YouTube? It's that time of week again. Sesh Podcast here. On location. I'm with Dan Lee as always. What's up?
What's up, guys?
And we have a special guest. We are actually broadcasting from Phil Pacheco's house. Phil, what's up?
What's going on?
I've had actually a bunch of people tell me that you would be great for the podcast, and I also know you wanted to come on the podcast, so I'm happy to have you, man.
Well, I'm glad to be here. You know,
I
don't know about good for the podcast, but you know.
No, you're good. A lot of people like Phil. Phil is probably the most liked regular in that room. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Well, you know, I like to donate.
I don't think it's even about that. I think like entertainment value, just action. Like you're one of the people that people like to play with. You're definitely one of my favorite players to play with.
Well, I appreciate that.
Definitely one of my favorites.
I was trying to get a contract with them over there at Silks. I don't know if you guys know about that. I talked to Rob.
Contract for
Well, yeah, because I feel like I add a lot of value to the whole game. I mean, I'm actually in there entertaining people. I splash around. I mean, I don't want to lose, but I'm not there to crush people's souls.
Yeah, I mean, if you win, you win. You have a good time.
Yeah, I have a good time, right? Sometimes I'll tighten up a little bit here and there, and then it's just not as much fun, right?
It's not.
Like when I open up with the 9-5 and the guy,
I saw that yesterday.
The guy flats with kings last time. I mean, and I flop 2 5s. I'm like, well, that's a fucking miracle, right?
That's how Phil does.
Oh, are we allowed to cuss on this?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All
right.
Let
you listen.
Don't hold back at all.
Right.
Whatever you're feeling.
But yeah, no, I enjoy the Silks. It's good. It's a good room. Has a good layout, right?
So Phil, you've been playing this Silks longer than any of us have, obviously. So you remember back when they were on like the second floor or the
right?
First
Yeah.
floor.
Well, yeah, we used to play $45 tournaments.
So what do you think from then until now has been like the biggest change about the Silks?
Well, the biggest change is the limits, right? I mean, it went from, small tournaments, that you'd actually spend 8 or 10 hours to win a couple $100 that we now make fun of those people because they're playing the Sunday tournament for $25. Yet we used to go in there and rip $45 out, single tables.
Yeah, the old $45 single tables.
They were fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was good times.
Because that was the only way to play no limit. Besides that, you had to play limit. If you're gonna play cash, you had to play limit.
You had to play $2.
Yeah, that was fucking terrible.
So I think that's it's evolved quite a bit, with the bigger stakes. And I remember one time when it changed over, somebody said that they had lost like $800. I was like, what? Like $800? How do you lose $800? This is back when you had the $100.
Yeah, the 100 cap.
$800. I'm like, okay, well, that's like a couple buy-ins now, right?
Yeah, that's like 1 or 2 buy-ins at the 1-3 game.
It's pretty amazing,
So I remember when they changed where you could play no limit cash, but they were in the clubhouse. Remember the clubhouse setup?
Yeah, absolutely.
The clubhouse, that was my favorite setup the Silks ever had.
You really liked the
I liked it. It
clubhouse?
was spacious. It was like everything was just. It was nice. It was just comfortable in there.
It was nice. I think this is better though.
I think the clubhouse was never supposed to be long term. It was just while they were transitioning to the third floor. But I don't know. I just really like the clubhouse. Maybe because I was so used to playing on that second floor and that shit was garbage.
Oh, that shit. Yeah.
You had like 10 tables packed into this tiny room, and then you had those big ass pillars.
Well, it needs to feed you pizza though over there though.
So,
$200, $45 tournaments, and at the break to feed you pizza.
They used to have 5-10 games going in that clubhouse, but $100 max buy-in. I always thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was definitely
people literally coming in with 10 bigs and just good luck.
It's just not a really good poker. So I think poker's better now. The only problem is that it can get expensive, right, for people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like especially what we play with I think what we have there with the 1-3, the max 500. I think it's perfect. There's tons of action. You get the right table. You have everyone with thousands of dollars at the table, and pots
it makes it fun.
It makes it fun. The pots get big. Win or lose for the most part, everyone's having a good time. I think it's a nice group of people that we play with.
Right. I like it. I like the 1-3-6 too. You put $1,000 on the table or $300. I did my new small stack from I learned from Cigar John.
Oh boy!
I don't know what the hell's up with all those cigars. I like the guy. I first used to annoy the crap out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
What does he do that annoys you specifically? Because he annoys me, but only one thing that he really does annoys me. Like I don't mind the guy, but there's one thing that he does that really.
Well, when he sits there just like staring blank and with a cigar in his mouth and just like wait and act.
Yeah, just he
like,
takes way too long to act, and then like if he gets in a conversation with someone, good luck trying to get him to make any kind of action.
That's another thing he does too, and you're like thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? Like he's just sitting there and waiting. How are you analyzing the hand that long? Are you asleep? What is up? So, but then I got to know him, and and now I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
But
I think I will say, I've found his cigars in like the weirdest places. Every single time, like one time I was in the bathroom, I look up and there's a cigar right there. I reach for a rack behind my seat, instead I get a cigar. Like I swear, he just leaves it in the most random places.
Nice.
That's like a win right there. You just fucking go to the bathroom, get a nice.
Just cut off the end there, and then you got yourself
I wish I hadn't touched that, but no, I think he means well. He's a nice guy. He just like you said, he just takes forever to act sometimes.
He does, and he's been putting a lot of hours there. But the problem is, he'll play those $100 stacks and stuff. But then he whips out a fucking cash roll of.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I always find that weird when people come to the Silks like $2,000 on them, but they'll come in for the mid buy-in every time. It's like.
Well, I mean, you got to have a lot of patience. Almost every time he goes in, he has queens or aces.
Oh yeah, he plays very snug. He's not in there messing
But he
around.
does drop some cash every once in a while, like anybody. As snug as you can play, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then another disadvantage of that is, you get called a lot, when you got that small stack.
Because you only have $100, like what's $100 to the player?
Well, I think he does it so he doesn't get put to any decisions. All his decisions are pretty easy. Like
yeah, he has a method.
He
right.
flops a pair, he's just getting it in.
Yeah, so then that's why you're wondering why you're waiting so long to make a decision when you really don't have that much money behind you anyway.
You got a point.
Think about that. It's like, dude, you got $150. Now when he stacks up, then he has
But when he stacks up, he's usually walking around the room. He's not really playing.
He does his
he's
victory lap, and then he's kind of out of there,
I mean, obviously you've been playing at the Silks for a long time, so you've seen all the characters come and go through there. Cigar John being one of those characters. Is there someone that you used to play with a long, long time ago that never comes in the room that you enjoyed playing with?
Well, Bob used to come more. He lives right around the corner from me here. And I kind of, we had a little rivalry going there for a while. Well, what happened with Bob is, I still laugh, because he'd be in a hand with me, and he'd want to check it down, and then he sucks out on you, and I'm like, fuck, that's not a good poker after a while. So then it just changed from us being friendly to just like a all out war, exactly. So I don't see him as often anymore, but I like when he's there.
I think baseball season, he's not there as often because I know he does that stuff with the Rays or whatever.
Right.
So I think when it's baseball season, he's not around much. But once it's not, I think we see him in there a lot more.
Right. I forget about people. It's funny. They'll show up all of a sudden. You're like, holy shit, man! I haven't seen you. I forget about them. Who they are.
Speaking of rivalries and war, one thing I've noticed, a little rivalry you always have with somebody there, whether you bring it up or he does, is Rich.
Oh yeah, Rich.
You guys are always butting heads, I
feel like he's like a distant brother or something.
I mean, obviously, Rich is obviously great for the game too. He's entertainment value. Also,
I think he's one of the best action. As far as because
he's definitely good action.
Yeah. He's definitely good action, and he just he loves to play. I was up the other day, pretty good. I mean, I had $1,300 in front of me. I wasn't actually up. I had recovered some of the money. And then he gets to the table, all of a sudden my stack just starts dwindling for some reason. He's calling me with all kinds of shit, and then you can't get him off the hand. He catches the straight on the river. He happens to have the 5 where, how do you have a 5 there? I mean, and I have 2 pairs, so I have to pay him off, because you never know. I did notice he changed his style slightly, but he's back to kind of playing.
The last few times I played with Rich, he's played a little bit tighter. I'll say that. Played a little bit tighter.
He's played a lot tighter since he first started.
Yeah.
But, he still has that range that he plays. He's never going to change that.
Well, the good thing about Rich is, we all know, is whether he doubles up or buys back, his chips are always in play. It doesn't.
Right, exactly. Normally just see him walking out to the elevator, at the end of the night. You're like, how the hell did you just lose all that $3,000, $35,000? I mean, I'll get to that point, but I will tighten up to a degree when I'm at a certain level, Yeah. But do I like to splash around? Sure. I mean, I'm there to have fun too.
And that's why the Silks is good. I think everybody kind of knows everyone. It's always a good place to just play poker, hang out. That's why I don't like some of the other rooms because Derby's a lot bigger I just hate the people there at Derby.
What is the deal with that? I can't. That's the same thing. Everybody says you go to Derby. I don't like the people there.
Yeah, the people.
It's so weird, right?
I mean, it might be like the location. I don't know. You just get but it's also just a bigger room, so you're gonna get a bigger range of people that are gonna come in there. And
well, I feel like with us, we've been so accustomed to the same people all the time. Like I see Phil all the time.
Right.
I see you all the time. I see Rich all the time. People like that. So. It's just it's literally just one big home game, and everybody knows everybody, and no one tries to out anybody else, Like, at Derby, you might get that, especially if you're, like, the new guy or something. I remember one time we were playing, I'm pretty sure Phil at the table, maybe Dustin, maybe you, but there was, like, literally 8 regulars and, like, this one random guy that's nobody ever seen before. And you could tell just by looking at him how uncomfortable he felt because everyone is just kind of like, you got fucking, Phil's like showing me his cards. Like, this guy's going all in for this guy. Like, it's like one big home game. So.
Right, but that's funny because they come in and think we're all playing together and they don't know that, look, man, we were, we'll maybe lend you money, but, we're going to try to come after your chips, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's like a thing I don't like at the Silks is, and when I see people who are like friendly or whatever, and they'll soft play each other, like it's funny because even till this day, I mean, I've played in that room a long time, and I've been playing with Dan Lee for a long time. People still think like Dan Lee and I soft play, or even sometimes I've had people think we collude, and it's like, have you ever seen us play poker? like there's nobody's chips around the table that I want.
You want to beat them, which
is
it's part of the game. I mean, it's part of being competitive. Like even Paul was there. Well, Paul was at our table. And he's like, Phil wants to get all my chips. Well, I mean, I don't necessarily want to get all your chips, but,
I don't want to lose to you.
You like calling all my raises, and you like beat me, so yeah, sure. I mean, we'll gamble.
Poker is just so competitive that, it doesn't matter who you beat. You just want to be like, the best. You want to win every pot that you can. No one likes losing, obviously. And for people to think that you and I collude is like the most ridiculous thing.
Oh, I think it's insane. It's just funny. It's like
I still like your guys' nickname though, the corporation. I gotta use that every time.
Yeah, it's fine. It was weird because like one time we, I don't know. I mean, it's been mentioned a few times like by just people like who I know of, and then there's like people who I like kind of know who they are. And then I'm told by a third party what was said, and it's like, what? Like, I mean, Carol told me a couple of years ago, there's like a guy in the room who plays with us every now and then. And then I guess we weren't at the table, and he asked Carol something, and he was like, yeah, did like those two guys like share a bankroll? He's like, do they collude? And, and Carol was like, Jordan and Daniel? He's like, you kidding me? He's like, no, like they play at each other like all the time. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I always see them at the same table. They're always winning. He's like, it's just weird. Like, I think they like collude or share.
Well, people have they only get a small sampling.
Yeah.
And they kind of make a decision every session is different. In order to play with somebody and know how they really play, you have to play over a long period of time. Right. Even some of the dealers, they don't get to see it. Elliot's like, well, always the chips are in front of the same players. Well, people do buy in more, Elliot. I got news for you, Elliot. Team Phil. Okay, Team Phil is letting you know, and on a secret. People actually take and buy chips too, so you're not really sure who has a lot of chips. But yes, obviously, if you play right, and you have to play over a long period of time, it's just like a business. Okay, you're gonna have good days and bad days.
Right.
But you have to be able to cash flow that, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. But that's if you're going to play it for Dan likes to play it for a living, and you play it somewhat for a living.
It's a lot tougher.
Once you took down the Spinal Institute, and you started working in there, came back and, say, well.
I mean, yeah, I 100% agree, and that's the thing. It's such a streaky game where you can't go by a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks.
Well, yesterday I could tell, I can read emotions at the table. Like when you got to our table yesterday, you're like, man, I am just over this fucking game right now. I'm ready to go home.
I've actually, the last couple of weeks, I've had rough
King
weeks.
7, man. Don't think I didn't see that hand, okay?
I must have missed it.
King 7 of clubs, he opens up with that.
This is the hand where I said your boy who never folds.
Yeah.
Oh, you're bluffing.
Yeah, I told you that.
That's my favorite thing when I hear people saying about, oh, Danny, you'll never get the chip. Yeah, I get it. Once you get them, okay, you're going to hold on to him. But boy, if you get steamy Danny,
he comes out every now and then.
And then I'm laughing at people because you'll never, he's so tight, aces and king. I'm like, oh, you guys don't.
I've played with you enough to know that, if things aren't going my way to an extent, over one session, I might mix it up a little bit.
Of course you do. Everybody does. You have to, because you're not going to get it waiting. Yes, poker is a patient game, but it also is a game where you get to where like, you know what? I want to recover this money. So you're going to play those hands. Because how many times have you won huge pots with a 9-5? Should you be playing it? I don't know. Should you? I mean, long term, you're not going to play that every day. But, hey, every once in a while, I tell you what, it's funny. I raised with the 9-5 because Dan had mentioned on one of the podcasts, right, about Sue being on the button with 9-5. Diamond.
Oh, you listened to that one.
Yeah.
And you figured out who that person was, huh?
Well,
because initially it was player X.
That's
and then it was
Yeah,
then it was
it
Sue.
doesn't matter. Listen, I mean, she's evolving. Her best things are actually tournaments.
She seems to do pretty well.
She does well. Her cash is first of all, you have to be able to understand that you have to be able to put an investment in that table. Okay, if you got 1-3-6 going on, or even a 1-3, it's 500. She doesn't want to invest that type of money, so her game automatically is going to change.
Yeah.
And then she waits, and she's low stack, and then she may open up some hands on the button. I mean, 9-5 on the button. She flopped the low end straight, right? I mean,
she flopped the second
right.
Right.
I mean, obviously,
second.
nothing she can do. It's just
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, exactly. It's cash. I mean, it's like cash. It's not like a tournament. You're gonna you're gonna think about that. But if she had $200 or $300 in, you got it straight out there.
I think she was pretty deep that hand, wasn't she?
Oh, was she? Yeah,
she had like 600.
Yeah, she was
right.
pretty
So some of those times you have to kind of think about those.
Yeah.
And that's
It was just it's a pretty big cooler there.
Yeah.
Dan Lee's hand shouldn't have been what it was.
Well, same thing happened to me with the ace-3 yesterday. It's like, I was ace-3 suited, and I flopped 2 pairs, and it's like, we had, 7 people in that hand?
There's a lot of people in the hand, yeah.
I'm like, what do I do here now? I flop, 2 pair. I can't really just call there. I had like 300 behind, I think, or something like that.
I don't mind. I think you played it fine. I think obviously you just ran into like the one hand that you can't beat.
How does he raise and hit the set?
Because you even said, you're like, Chuck, I could beat ace king, and he's like, I don't have ace king.
I didn't think he did when he called, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, well, let's see if he's gonna freaking, I have 300. If he's got ace king, it has to be ace king. It's not ace queen. It has to be ace king. Now that's one thing I feel like. He wouldn't go in there with less than that,
Yeah.
Or, set of aces, right?
That's more unlikely because you have one, but yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I did not put him. It was when he called, I was like, oh.
Yeah, because when he went all in on top of you, I'm like, all right, Phil's done.
Yeah, I'm looking for the most.
I didn't know what his hand was yet.
Yeah.
And even when he flipped it over, I was kind of surprised.
The worst hand is ace king. Right, the worst thing.
Yeah, but I don't think he's shoving it on. He might call you.
Right, he's not going to shove it against all those other people behind him.
Exactly.
That's a big factor right there.
Yeah, it's just one of those hands that played out the way it did. Nothing you could do, nothing he can do. Just a really unlucky hand for you, and it happens to the best of us. We all get unlucky,
So yeah, the best, right? Like who you guys were like Dustin, right? Let's talk about Dustin.
Let's talk about Dustin.
Yeah,
How do you feel about Dustin?
I love it. Oh, I love when Dustin. My favorite moments are with Dustin, right? When you see him finally implode every once in a while, when he just his little moves ain't working. His little traps and the checks, and then he starts getting tilted, right? And he's like, oh, how does that guy get there? Of course he got there. Of course he has that hand, right? That's his whole thing,
That is his thing.
The story's always slanted towards his favor. Not, I played it bad.
Yeah,
it's never like that, right? So that's my favorite moment.
Yeah, if you ask him, he never plays a hand bad. He either got really unlucky or the other player played it bad.
Right, exactly.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, so I that's my favorite moments when he starts doing a meltdown.
Dustin's been on a nice little run lately. Apparently he bagged like 307K in the tournament tonight. So
did he?
Yeah, he'll be back on Sunday.
He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He can play the game.
Yeah.
Especially when he's focusing on, like, I think in tournaments, I think he can do better sometimes. And Cash, he does well, but Cash, you do have to get lucky sometimes, right?
Well, of course.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah, I mean.
So he bagged, 375?
307, I think.
307?
Decent stack. Really pretty good
which
stack.
I think at this point is actually the chip lead. I mean, it's only been 3 flights, but still.
You guys got any money on him yet, or what?
Well, he wanted to swap with me, like 5%, but then he took it back last minute.
Oh, that's unusual.
Well, and also Daniel didn't even play it. Like, I was thinking about maybe playing it.
I wish I had played it tonight because if I knew the cash could be as bad as it was, I probably would.
You still got time. You're going to play tomorrow? Or
I don't think I might play the big one, but the 40K one, probably not. I don't think so.
Yeah, I may play the main event, but
Are you playing it?
I don't know. I mean, tomorrow's the last day, right?
Yeah,
for the
opening
event,
and it starts at 6, and then day 2 would be on Sunday.
What time is it tomorrow? 1 o'clock or something?
1 and then 6. So
yeah, well, since I didn't play tonight, I mean, I was just too tired. I was going to play, but it's like,
Well, the good thing, I don't know if it's good or bad. The good thing about this tournament is I think you have 4 hours to register.
Yeah, 4 hours,
which is ridiculous.
That is a long time.
It is a long time, and they don't really give you many chips. I think it's 20K starting stack, half-hour levels, but that's just a really long time to register. Because I got there today at I didn't start playing until 10 o'clock, and I could still register with a half an hour left, but I decided against it.
But, well, so let me ask you a question now, since I listened to some of your podcasts. What's up with the, how come you're copying some of my Ocean Prime moves?
I have no idea.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of listen. It's like
Phil came prepared.
No idea.
Yeah, you guys. I come prepared when I do
Phil
things.
came prepared.
But what's up with that? I mean,
that's not a bad thing, right? I'm learning from.
No, I know. I think it's good. But listen, I fell on some of those grounds before. You know, where you're because I like to have a good time. If I take somebody out, okay, it's also for myself. I like to go to a nice place, not necessarily just to impress them. But it is nice to take them somewhere, especially if you kind of like them, But I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Who's this girl here? What's going on? I have an idea.
It's not really important.
Is this? Are you guys friends right now? Or
we're just we're friends. Yeah. So
yeah.
That's what we'll call it for right now.
Right. So what'd you have though? What did you have when you?
What did I eat?
Yeah. What'd you eat?
I had. Well, see, I just started recently eating fish. So I never really.
The only reason a guy who never ate fish before or sushi, okay, the only reason you ever eat any of that is it's for a girl. Because guys do the dumbest shit for girls, okay?
No. So
but they force you. Oh, you have to try it. I don't eat seafood.
Yeah.
And I've been
you don't eat seafood?
No, I don't eat seafood, right? But sure enough, you go out with a girl and they're like, trying to force feed you to eat food, and you're like, you're pretty hot, so I think I'll try it. You know what I mean?
I will believe.
Is that what happened, Dan?
No. Cause I know you gotta go believe me. So I've just been recently going on this diet, trying to get myself in shape, and I've lost 20 pounds the last few months.
All right.
So I've been eating a lot of chicken, a lot of veggies, and I bought some salmon the other day. My mom recommended it. I went home and cooked it. And it didn't taste that bad. I never liked fish because the taste of it, the smell of it, but it didn't taste that bad.
The taste and the smell and the texture.
Yeah, that's probably the worst.
I love shrimp. I like lobster, crab. That shit's good.
But fish is supposed to be healthy for you. So
unless you dip it in a.
I don't do that. I just cooked it and I just ate it plain, a little bit of seasoning, but it didn't taste that bad. And I'm doing that for my own good, not just because somebody,
Well, I mean,
Because when I went to Ocean Prime that day.
Yeah, what'd you have?
I think I had chicken.
With who you said? Sorry, you almost flipped right there, right?
He's good. He's gonna try and get me before the night's over. No, we went out and I had chicken, and I think I had some broccoli with it too. So just a nice healthy meal.
I have an idea because now that's by knowing what you ate. Can kind of give me an idea. If it's a girl that likes health and fitness, let's say.
How well does Phil read you? This is all part of it.
That's why Phil owns me.
I know.
He might have a good read on me, but
Dan reads my card sometimes how the fuck did he know that was my exact hand? Like
yesterday, I knew you had a 5 for sure. I already knew that.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to figure out what the guy snap called you with.
Right. Well, you probably thought I had, instead of 9-5, maybe ace-5 suited, but
I thought you had a better. I thought you had a good 5.
Yeah, I mean,
either way, a 5
there. Yeah,
a 5 is a 5, and
I mean, think about the range of 5s you could have there. If I'm opening, I think it would be an ace-5 suited, kind of build the pot up.
Or something connected.
Something 5-6,
You can make a straight 9-5.
The 3-5.
As long as you can make a straight, then it's connected.
Yeah, 5-8. How many gappers do we need here?
The funny thing about that hand is he got really, really mad, but he played his hand very poorly.
He played it extremely poorly. And what's his name now? He's coming back now. Aaron, yeah, Aaron's there.
Aaron was laughing at him. The guy's like, "What's so funny?"
Right, yeah. Sometimes you have to have a little discretion at the table, but I like Aaron. He didn't really do anything wrong.
He's changed his game a lot, actually. Aaron.
Well, Aaron's tightened up quite a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last 3 times I played with him, he's played a lot tighter.
But the problem is if you tighten up too much, people can read that, and now you're just too easy to read.
I mean, he still takes funny lines in hands. A lot of his hands don't make sense, but...
Well, yesterday, some guy opened for 30, he just shoves in 700.
That's what I mean.
With 5 people left to act behind him, and then after guy's I got him. So, Yeah,
that's a weird play. I mean, there's a lot of that happening, though, a lot of the times, where I mean, what did he have? Did he show? Or?
No, he didn't show, but I mean,
I saw him do that at my table. I don't think either one of you were there. It was a $6 straddle, and he called the 6. Like 5 other people called the 6. Guy made it like 26 total, and Aaron just shoved like 700, and he showed 2 10s. I'm like, that's interesting. But I don't know, it's just weird lines.
Yeah, I mean, those 10s, those pocket pairs like that, I'm careful with those, you know? I mean, there'll be a lot of times where you overplay those.
I might trap with kings or aces there. It'd be sweet. You just snap them out.
So, I mean, I do a lot of set mining, honestly. I've changed to where I'm doing a lot of that, too, where, you know, I like with the 10s and the jacks. I mean, you've seen sometimes like the other day I have queens. I roll over queens.
Oh yeah, he limped under the gun yesterday, and then it gets checked. I'm in the big one. I just check. And it's like a jack high board. He bets and gets raised, and then like he calls again on the river. Goes check.
Because I didn't know, you know. Where's the combination of 2 pairs he would have there?
Exactly. See, and that goes like I don't know if you've ever heard this old saying in poker, like don't go broke in a limp pot, and that's exactly what it was. And I think you won or lost the minimum because in a limp pot anybody could have it.
Well, that's the whole thing. It was a limp pot. So yes, and I felt like with that player, he's the kind of player that he doesn't really want to get it all in a lot. You know, like he said, check to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna just take that check. I'm not gonna try to reopen this. I'll be happy to take this pot down because I really played these queens. I didn't play him terrible because I was hoping somebody would raise, but I kind of put myself in a spot.
Well, I think you played him fine. I mean, when it got to showdown, your hand was definitely not what I thought it was.
Right. No, nobody's going to, because I'm just calling them. Am I chasing? You know, that's one thing about big pairs. Sometimes people will pop those over and like, how did that happen? Well, I understand you're trying to trap or you're trying to, and they're hard to play. Big pairs are hard to play. You know, even trying losing your stack on the top pair. That's what happened to him. He had top pair with a good kicker.
Yes, he did.
He re-raised, and then I'm calling him out of position, so he didn't know what to do. And I think he did okay, too, because after a while, he just kind of surrenders. Like, maybe I can go to showdown here.
I lost the minimum, I think, against Aaron the other day, where I limped 2 kings under the gun. There was a $6 straddle. Aaron limped. There's like a few other people who called the $6 straddle. And I had shut down at this point. I mean, now that the straddle actually checked, I already had it in my head, like,
yeah, you have
I'm probably check folding this unless
you flop a king.
Unless I flop a king.
Right, exactly.
It came ace king jack, and I was like, oh, ace king jack rainbow. I'm like, that's not bad. I checked.
I have a feeling Aaron had
Aaron checked. It checked all the way around. The turn card was like an 8.
Right.
And as I'm like thinking about what to do, I went to go grab chips, and Aaron checked, and I'm like, okay, well that was interesting. Aaron's up checking out of turn here, but I led the turn, and Aaron called. So then I was like, okay, well, I don't think there's any way Aaron's checking queen 10 twice.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, Aaron probably has a little piece of this, and maybe he's got a straight draw with it. Maybe he's got, jack 10, or he's got fucking, or maybe he's got ace 10, something like that. So I was pretty sure Aaron doesn't have queen 10 in this spot, and everyone else folded. The river was like a 5. So my hand is still essentially the third nuts.
You let out, obviously, right?
And I let out pretty big because I thought Aaron might call me with the certain hands. Like I figured maybe if he made 2 pair, he's gonna call me
2 pair, right? I think
Aaron may even call me with like a jack here, like a decent jack or something, because I don't think he can give me credit for much of a hand. So I bet pretty big. That I bet a little bit less than pot. I basically bet like $50, and Aaron decided to make it like 126 or something, 128, I think. And I snapped because I'm never folding. He has queen 10.
Oh, he had queen 10.
Yeah, he does have queen 10. But my thing was like, I think I lose a lot more if I play that faster. Yeah. I think if I raise Aaron, he was queen 10 suited. Aaron's probably calling that queen 10 suited.
Well, that's a smart move.
And then you can, I'm gonna bomb that flop. Yeah. I'm gonna bomb the turn, and he probably gets a lot.
What do you do if he goes all in? He's trying to get value there. You knew that though. You kind of know that.
Yeah, it was kind of a stupid spot because it was a hand that I'd already said I was just shutting it down.
Right.
And then, you flop that, and then, the hand just played out the way it does. I was surprised that Aaron was going to check queen 10 2 streets. That was what was surprising.
How was the board on was it
flush it's pretty safe, but there's like 6 people in the hand.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got to start building a pot at some point here.
Yeah. I would have definitely.
So when I saw him get ready to check out of turn, and I was like, wow.
That's the play he misplayed and made away, because I would have bet the turn. with the straight there.
Yeah.
I would have tried to build the pot up and let somebody, try to draw out to some.
So, I mean, that kind of sucked. I mean, I'm glad he made a pretty small raise on the river because...
Sometimes those help. Those
yeah.
things,
I mean, if you would have made a bigger raise, like, I was asking Daniel about the hand, and Daniel was like, I mean, I think a lot of times you're probably supposed to just put in another raise, but he goes, I'll probably call. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I don't think I'm going to raise again, but I mean, it kind of feels weird.
Well,
because my hand's extremely under rep.
Yeah, your hand's not supposed to be what it is.
Exactly.
Given the way he played his hand shouldn't do what it is either. Like, he should probably check raise you at some point with, nuts, like...
Now listen, I don't want to let Dan get away with this one though, because we start talking about poker, and all of a sudden the Ocean Prime goes away. I
thought I answered that question already.
Yeah, no, we talked about what you ate, but we didn't ask what the lady. What did she?
Yeah,
have?
What did the lady have? You can tell us what she ate.
I mean, we're calling her a lady at this point, right?
I mean, she had fish, and then she had an alcoholic drink. I forget what it was.
Oh yeah. What kind was that?
It was I want to say it was maybe like a vodka. I don't remember.
How about when you got the bill? How did you feel about that?
Well, it's funny because the waiter came with the bill.
And gave it to her?
Yeah. He put it on her side. And then
that's awkward, right?
Well, yeah. And then she looked at it. She's like, "Okay, let's split this, Danny." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, let me see it, but I had no intentions of giving it back to her.
Right, exactly. Right,
so I just put my credit card in there.
It's a good thing, I mean,
she's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, don't worry about it." She's like, "Don't do that." And I'm like, "No, it's fine." And then
I have a feeling, even by the way you said that, I think I know what it is.
I gave it away, but we'll talk about this next.
Well, I mean,
inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, but this is about Phil, not Daniel.
Yeah. No, but it's a little bit about,
Yeah,
I don't want it to be all about me ever.
But yeah, I mean, I paid for the bill. I mean, it didn't matter. I mean,
so no more dates after that. Just right now, just kind of friends.
I mean, we don't really need to discuss that right now. Maybe later down the road we can discuss an additional date.
Well, you have a plan, right? Though, like, okay, so like,
I don't get now the interview.
Feel free to butt in.
No, I like this. I like where this is going. This is good.
No, listen. I mean, obviously, you're doing these things for a reason. You're on the diet, trying to get healthy, working out. I believe that you should do that, though.
I know you're not going to believe me when I say this, but I'm not doing this like for somebody. I'm doing this for myself.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I get it.
He just doesn't believe me, though. Like, I know he doesn't.
No, you're not doing it for, but you are, in a way, you have to have somebody in mind or something in mind. It's always
just a happy and healthy life, Like that's
but that's me. I'm 50. Okay, I could use that excuse, right? That's why. Well, I'm trying to get fit. Sure. I mean, that's part of why I'm doing it. But I also, like you said, you guys also have a big ego. I mean, it's not about that.
Oh, I didn't.
But Dustin did probably.
That's Dustin. Anything Dustin says,
ego.
a lot of the stuff Dustin says, I don't agree with because some of that kid's just a moron. Like, I'm
yeah,
not the guy
sometimes he can be. Yeah, I mean, how does he even play poker? And sometimes like his social skills is where he's like. I guess he's using all his energy towards the poker, and it just all the social skill. I like him though.
I agree.
I like him, but his social skills, he's working on that.
It's weird because he always has incidents at the Silks, and I think there's some kind of vibe he gives off. I guess.
Yeah. When he's a douche. Like, let's be serious. Yeah. The way he talks to players, like Dustin talks a lot of shit. Like,
yeah, he does. Yeah, he talks about players and that guy's a fish and all that and this and that. And
it's funny. We were playing one day, me, you, and him, and there was a bunch of other regulars at the table too. And you had gone to the bathroom, and I have a separate chat with them. He's like, "I'll bet. How much you guys want to bet that?" Phil talks shit when I leave. Like, he goes to the bathroom. So he gets to the bathroom, and, like, as soon as he leaves, you're just like, Dustin's so fucking bad. I'm like, well, Dustin, you were right. You know Phil better than we do, apparently, because, like, you just lost, like a small hand to him or something. Maybe, like, $200 or something, because he got lucky against you.
Which, I think I remember one. I remember a lot. I remember hands I played with him, like, way back when I first didn't really know him. And he's like, he tried to trap me with an ace-10 hand. I guess he thought that was such a great hand back then. I knew you were going to raise and this and that, This is back like maybe 5 years ago. I still remember it,
I mean, the thing with Dustin is, he's got a little bit of an ego, and you guys like to go to battle, and I think you call him out. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You talk a lot of shit at the table as well, Phil, but like everybody finds it enjoyable.
Right.
Like, you talk shit, no one's like, oh, fuck that Phil guy. They're like, oh, that's funny, Phil. Ah.
Yeah,
but Dustin talks shit, everyone's like, fuck this kid. Like, so, I mean, you guys are similar as far as how you guys talk shit, but you do it in a much
Well,
more
I have
friendly.
social skills.
Yeah,
that's
you
the
do it in a
difference.
much
Yeah.
more friendly
And I have
way.
a little bit of poker skills, maybe not as good as what he thinks.
Well, see, I think the difference between those two is like, so they'll both talk a lot of shit, but like Phil gives action, like he
Exactly.
He plays poker. Dustin's just sitting up, locking up the win.
I literally like to just give action. Like if the players are playing with me, like a Paul or Rich, I feel like it's good to call them sometimes, even with some speculative hands, because I like to play those guys, because that's their game. That keeps them playing, and me coming and playing also. So yeah, and I know that you guys can take it. Like I know, like the thing that's most annoying though is when you're in the straddle and you're double straddle, and there's always that one hand that somebody's going to try to take advantage of that. And it's smart poker, but it's freaking annoying. But that's what I love when they get snapped off, because that's just the way the game is,
It is. That happens, and I think you got to have a good balance at your table. You can't have a bunch of guys just knitting it up and playing, literally the blade.
It'd be such a boring.
It'd be so boring. Yeah, so you got to have exciting players in there and make players.
Yeah, like the table you were at, I was there first.
Oh yeah.
And it didn't have when I was there had Darren wasn't drunk. Drunk Darren was.
Oh, he was action last night though.
When?
Last night.
Yeah, after I left the table.
Yeah, after you left.
Yeah, and then how does he play for a living though? I don't understand that.
Is that what he does?
I don't know. What does he do? I mean,
I don't know.
I have no idea. But he goes to Vegas. People must back him or something. But that table was kind of, I saw Paul over it. Danny was there. Plus, I like playing with Dan.
Yeah,
my table was good.
That table was great. I tried to get over there, but yeah, Darren was sick action last night. He's got like a thing with me because I've just held over the last little bit or whatever.
Yeah.
So like every hand that I was in, he was in and he wasn't folding. So I beat him maybe the first 3 pots we put together. Nothing huge. Like one pot may have been nothing big. Maybe one pot was even over $100.
Right.
But then we got another hand where he called me down with bottom pair. And then he made 2 pair on the river. And then he checked to me when he made his 2 pair, and I checked back. And he's like, finally, I fucking beat you in a hand. He's like, I wasn't going to stop till I beat you in a hand. I was just like, you got it all there, buddy. And then he ended up felting me later, actually. So yeah, so it was just kind of silly.
So what you're saying is bottom pair was already good?
No, it wasn't, because I checked behind. I top pair, and I flipped it up. Because I checked behind, flipped my hand up, and he looked at it, he's like, finally I beat you. He had bottom 2 pair. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, you just called me down. He called me down with like a 4 the whole way, and then made a 5 on the river. And I'm like, okay. Hey, if that made him feel better, it's all good.
Well, that's how Rich's brother, Bob's brother, Richie.
Yeah.
He'll tell me he comes in normally he'll be in tonight, probably Friday.
Yeah, he was there.
He'll come in, but he's lit up. You know what I mean? He's been to the Moose Bar Club.
He made that comment with Melissa at the table. That's right.
Huh?
He made that comment with Melissa.
Oh, with Melissa. Yeah, Melissa. Huh? Boy.
What did he say?
What did he say? Well, because Phil made a sick comment too, as well.
Yeah, no, not as bad as that.
No,
he made something
about
he could have a big schlong or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I must have missed this story.
I think we were talking about her husband or something.
Yeah, he had money or a schlong or whatever, and then it was it was an odd comment for sure.
It was definitely.
Because it came from Richie.
It was just, it was unexpected. Definitely unexpected.
Now Richie says a lot of weird shit at the table. He'll say all these random jokes, and then he'll laugh at it, but nobody laughs at it.
Yeah, he goes the daddy joke too, with the hot girls or something.
That's just awkward.
That's it. It is
I was asking Daniel on the way here, how come Bob and Richie, if you didn't know they were brothers, you wouldn't know they were.
You would not know it. Yeah.
They don't talk. They don't seem like they're tight.
No. Richie actually is a little nicer than Bob. Sorry, Bob, if you hear this.
Oh, you weren't at the table for this. This is the greatest thing ever. Bob got, and we played Bob, and I've never seen Bob really upset. He'll make a comment here and there.
Oh, he gets upset.
He gets upset. He'll make a comment here and there, but it's all nothing that crazy. Well, this guy kept beating Bob in pots, and then finally, Bob got in a pretty big hand with this guy. And the guy didn't know what his hand was. He thought he just had an ace, which was top pair. But he actually went backdoor clubs, and he made the nut flush.
Oh.
So Bob also...
One of the best feelings.
Bob had 2 pair. And so they got to the river, and the guy was like, just got an ace, and Bob turned over his 2 pair. And then the guy turned over his ace, whatever, of clubs. And somebody was like, you got to flush. And he was like, I didn't even see what I had. I got to flush. And Bob's like, this fucking guy's not even looking at his hand. He's winning pots. So Bob's fuming now. So now Bob gets in this hand. and somebody raised pre. Bob flats with 2 aces, and then this guy calls as well. The flop was like 10-10. What was it? It was like 10-10-7 or something with 2 diamonds, and somebody leads out. The original raiser leads out. Bob mid raises. This other dude. So someone let out for like $25. Bob made it 50. This other guy makes it 200, and then the original raiser folds. Bob's sitting there and flashes half the table 2 aces, which we never thought he had 2 aces in this spot. Like, Bob never has that. So it was like 10-10-7 board with 2 diamonds. Bob's sitting there and he's like, this guy. And he goes, you know what? And Bob's got about 600 behind. So Bob goes, you know what? Fuck you, I'm all in. He shoves his whole stack in there, and then he goes, fuck you, big boy, you want it all? Come and get it. He goes, yeah, fuck you.
Obviously, he won the hand, though, right?
So the guy goes into the tank, and he's shaking his head, he's kind of laughing. He has 8-9. He's open-ended here.
Oh, okay.
So, Bob's like, oh, like, he's like talking to all of us. He's like, I guess I'm good. And then he's like, come on, big boy, make the call, big boy. He's just like goading this guy. Finally, the guy called. They ran 2 boards. Bob actually held both boards. And won this huge pot. And so he's stacking the chips, and then the other guy decides to leave our table and went to another game. And Bob goes, I'm sorry about that, guys. You know me. I'm normally like pretty under control. He's like,
you're not.
He's looking at me. He's like, Jordan, you play with me all the time. You know I'm never like that. That guy just really got under my skin. I was cracking up. I never seen Bob just sit there and say, you know what? Fuck you. I'm all.
I've seen him do it plenty of times. I'm not sure if he knows about it. Yeah, I have.
I don't know if I've heard him say fuck you. That's pretty funny.
Fuck you, but he gets pretty aggravated. I like when he goes, when he's in a hand with you, he's like, how big's your kicker? Because he has a set on you, and he's like, trying to trap you. Like, dude, use the same line every time. I mean, some people. I remember
a king when he's got like middle set. He's like,
yeah.
I don't think you got that king.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's trying to trap you, but he's talking to you at the same time. Like, okay, you're just trying to trap me here, Same thing Rich does too. So, anyways, I guess we'll have to leave Dan off the hook this time.
I don't think we're gonna get in that.
We'll talk about this next time. If there's another day in the foreseeable.
Oh, one thing I did like about that you guys were asking about, like, what's the best feature of Dustin Bradley?
Yeah, he's gone through it all. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to answer that question, or did you?
What I think the best feature,
or did you hear something that you thought was funny?
I thought it was funny that one of the girls said his beard, and I'm like, yeah. I'm sorry, Dustin. Ladies ain't finding you very hot right now. So,
I like Tiffany's answer to that the best. As soon as I said, "What would you say?"
He walks on his toes.
Yes. But her initial answer when I just asked, "What is his best physical feature?" She said, "No."
She didn't want to answer the question.
No. You gotta love her. She just straight up like, no.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, I love Tiffany. She tells it like it is.
Yeah. No, that was a good one. I love that. And I was like, what's his best, physical feature? Who said he walks on his toes?
No, that was Tiffany. She
okay.
initially said no, but then she was like, okay, he walks on his toes.
Where'd you guys come up with some of these questions?
He comes up with all these random ass questions.
Yeah, just random questions there.
Just right off the top of the head, whatever comes to his mind.
Just random facts.
It's funny to hear the ansers, though. It really is. Especially if it's like a stupid question like that.
Like the top, what do you think the top hottest dealers are there?
Oh, you're that too. Okay.
I
didn't say dealers. I said employees.
Yeah, I know, but the girl dealers, right? I mean, it's so disappointing when some of the guys come to the table. I enjoy the ladies dealing so much better than most.
So, if you had to choose the top 5 most attractive employees there, who would you choose?
Well,
let's start at 5.
Well, before we get into this might need to be a 2-parter here.
We got time. We got a couple more minutes.
No, we're not going to get through this.
It's all right.
This is probably going to have to be 2 parts here. So
you want to say that for the next one?
No,
like the hottest.
I'll just tell you guys right now. If you want to hear the rest of this conversation, tune in for part 2 with Phil, Danley, and myself. I think Phil's going to drop some interesting knowledge here about these good-looking employees at the Silks.
Way to ruin it, Jordan.
I'll talk to you next time. Thanks, everyone, for listening. If you like the podcast, make sure to subscribe and like the video. And stay tuned next week for part 2 with Phil Pacheco. Should be good.